Do you ever feel like life is just one challenge after another? Like no matter how hard you try, things don't seem to get any better? Well, what if I told you there's a philosophy, ancient but powerful, that can help you transform your life instantly? That's right, Stoicism. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you liked the video, so that you can help me continue spreading Stoic philosophy. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you do so and activate the bell so you don't miss any future videos on Stoicism. Today, we're diving into 10 timeless Stoic lessons, principles that have been helping people for over 2,000 years to not just survive, but thrive, no matter the obstacles. Whether you're facing overwhelming stress, constant setbacks, or even the uncertainty of the future, these lessons will equip you with the mindset you need to find peace, strength, and resilience in any situation. So, if you've been looking for a way to regain control of your life, reduce stress, and stay calm under pressure, stick with me. These Stoic teachings are simple to grasp, yet profoundly life-changing. So, let's get started. Lesson 1. Focus only on what you can control. Think about a time when things didn't go as planned. Maybe you got stuck in traffic, or someone cancelled an important meeting last minute. You could feel your frustration building up, your heart racing, your thoughts spiraling. In those moments, it's easy to get caught up in everything that's going wrong. You might even think, why is this happening to me? But here's the thing, life is full of things we can't control. We can't control the weather, other people's actions, or unexpected obstacles. The one thing we can control, however, is how we respond to those situations. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about the last time something threw you off course. Perhaps you were working hard on a project, and just when you thought you were getting ahead, something unexpected happened. Maybe a colleague took credit for your work, or a mistake was made that was out of your hands. At that moment, it's easy to focus on what went wrong and let those thoughts consume you. But imagine if you paused instead, just for a moment, take a deep breath and think, what can I control here? That's where the real power lies, focusing on your response. Take a page out of Thomas Edison's book. When his experiments with the light bulb kept failing, he didn't give up. Instead, he chose to see every failure as a step towards success. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison couldn't control the failures, but he could control how he responded to them. The key takeaway here is simple. The next time you're faced with a frustrating or difficult situation, remember that your reaction is yours to control. Whether it's a problem at work, a misunderstanding with a friend, or something out of your hands, the real question is, how will you respond? When you focus only on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, you will start to feel more grounded and empowered. So next time life throws a curveball, take a moment to pause, breathe, and focus on your response. This simple shift can bring you more peace and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Lesson 2. Embrace discomfort to build strength. Let's talk about a time when you really wanted to avoid discomfort. Maybe you've been through a tough workout session, or you were facing a difficult conversation at work or in your personal life. The instinct is always to retreat, to avoid that uncomfortable feeling. But what if that discomfort is exactly what you need to grow stronger? The Stoics, like Epictetus, understood this well. He said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." In other words, discomfort, whether physical or emotional, reveals the true strength we have inside. Take, for instance, the story of Admiral Jim Stockdale. During the Vietnam War, he was captured and tortured for over 7 years. Despite unimaginable hardships, Stockdale refused to give in to despair. He embraced his discomfort, which became a source of strength. His ability to endure and adapt to suffering made him not only a survivor, but also a leader who could help others through the same trials. When asked how he survived, Stockdale famously said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but that I would prevail in the end and turn the experience into the defining event of my life." Stockdale's mindset was one of embracing discomfort rather than avoiding it. In the same way, the Stoics believed that challenges, however uncomfortable, are opportunities for growth. When we face difficulties, we can either avoid them or confront them with the understanding that enduring them builds our resilience and character. Think about your own life. Maybe you're afraid of public speaking or taking on a challenging project at work. The discomfort is real, and it's tempting to avoid it. But if you were to step into that discomfort, you might find that it pushes you to develop new skills, confront fears, and expand your capabilities. It's not the absence of discomfort that makes us stronger. It's the ability to rise to the occasion and face it head-on. The takeaway here is clear. Embrace discomfort. Instead of avoiding the tough situations, approach them with a mindset of growth. Whether it's physical pain from a workout, the mental strain of a new task, or the emotional discomfort of an honest conversation, recognize these as opportunities to build strength. So, next time you feel that resistance, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that this discomfort is exactly what you need to become stronger. Step into it and let it shape you. Lesson 3, Memento Mori. Remember you will die. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the realization that your time on this earth is limited. How would you live differently? What would you prioritize? In a world full of distractions, we often forget that life is finite. That's where the Stoic concept of memento mori comes in, a powerful reminder to remember that we will die. The phrase memento mori means, remember you will die. It's not meant to be morbid or depressing, but rather a wake-up call to live fully. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, understood the importance of confronting our mortality. He said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Think about the time you've spent on tasks that don't truly matter. Maybe you've spent hours scrolling through social media or worrying about things outside of your control. Now imagine if you used that time more wisely, spending it with loved ones, pursuing passions, or focusing on what really matters. It's easy to forget that time is the one thing we can't get back." A historical figure who truly embraced this was the philosopher Socrates. Even as he faced the death sentence, Socrates wasn't afraid. In fact, he embraced his death with calm acceptance, knowing that his time had come. He understood that life was precious, not because of how long it lasts, but because of how we live it. His final words to his friends were, "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius. Please pay it." He showed his followers that death is just a part of life, not to be feared, but accepted. How can we apply this lesson in our daily lives? Next time you're stuck in a cycle of distractions or procrastination, pause and ask yourself, how would I spend my time if I knew today was my last day? This question can help you cut through the noise and refocus on what truly matters, whether it's spending quality time with family, working on a meaningful project, or pursuing personal growth. The practical takeaway here? Live intentionally. Don't wait for a dramatic moment to remind you of your mortality. Each day is a chance to live as if it were your last. So when you face decisions or distractions, remember that time is limited and ask yourself how you want to use it. Embrace the reminder that one day all of this will be over, and let that fuel you to live a life with purpose. Lesson 4. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Life is full of challenges. You've probably experienced a moment when everything seemed to go wrong. Maybe you lost a job, faced a tough breakup, or encountered a failure in a project you worked hard on. In these moments, it's easy to feel like the world is against you. But what if these obstacles were actually opportunities in disguise? The Stoics teach us to view challenges as chances for growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful quote reminds us that obstacles aren't things to fear. They are the very things that can lead us to a stronger, wiser version of ourselves. Take, for example, Thomas Edison. He didn't view his thousands of failed experiments as setbacks. Instead, he saw them as opportunities to learn. When asked about his many failed attempts at inventing the light bulb, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison didn't let obstacles discourage him. Instead, he embraced them as part of the process, turning each failure into a stepping stone towards success. Now let's apply this to our own lives. Imagine you've just hit a major setback, whether it's a personal goal or a professional challenge. Instead of getting frustrated or feeling defeated, take a moment to reframe the situation. Ask yourself, how can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? For instance, if you didn't get the job you wanted, could it be an opportunity to develop new skills or pursue a different path? If a relationship ended, could it open up space for personal growth or new connections? Here's a practical takeaway. When faced with an obstacle, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and change your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I use this to grow?" This simple shift in thinking can transform your challenges into the building blocks of your success. The next time you encounter a difficulty, remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "The obstacle is the way." Embrace it, learn from it, and watch how you can turn it into an opportunity for growth. Lesson 5, practice gratitude. Daily life gets busy, and it's easy to take the little things for granted. The morning coffee you enjoy, the people around you, or the simple pleasure of a peaceful walk. But what if you paused for a moment and truly appreciated these things? That's where the Stoic practice of gratitude comes in. Seneca said, "A man is not good because of what he has, but because of what he chooses to do with what he has." This profound statement reminds us that it's not the possessions or status we have, but how we appreciate and use them that truly matters. Gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful when things are going well. It's about appreciating life, even in its smallest moments, especially when things are tough. Imagine this. You wake up to a cold, grey morning. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by all the tasks ahead. You could focus on everything you have to do, but instead, take a moment and think about what you do have. Your health, your ability to breathe, the people you love, or even just the fact that you have the opportunity to improve today. Gratitude helps shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. One of the most relatable examples comes from the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus. He didn't have much. He was born a slave, after all. But despite his circumstances, he practiced gratitude every day. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he focused on the freedom he could control within his own mind. This inner freedom became the foundation for his resilience and peace. He once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." His practice of gratitude was centered not on accumulating wealth, but on appreciating the simplicity of life. You don't need to wait for life's biggest moments to practice gratitude. In fact, it's the little moments that can make the biggest difference. Start by keeping a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. It could be as simple as a good meal, a kind word from a friend, or a quiet moment of reflection. This small act helps train your mind to see the positive, even when life throws challenges your way. Here's a practical takeaway for you. Every morning or before bed, take just a few minutes to reflect on what you're thankful for. It could be something small. Maybe you had a nice chat with a friend, or you're grateful for your health. Doing this consistently helps rewire your brain to focus on abundance and positivity, shifting your perspective on the world around you. The next time you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, pause, take a deep breath, and remember what you're grateful for. It's a simple practice, but it can make all the difference in how you approach the world. So, start today and let gratitude transform your life. Lesson 6. Master your reactions. Imagine you're walking into a room for an important meeting. You've prepared, you're ready. But then something unexpected happens. Someone interrupts you, or a comment is made that you didn't expect. Your first instinct might be to react, feel anger, frustration, or even embarrassment. But what if you took a moment to pause and chose a different response? This is where the Stoic principle of mastering your reactions comes into play. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but how we react to them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. And by mastering our reactions, we can maintain our inner peace. Take the example of Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher. As a former slave, he faced incredible hardship. Yet, he learned not to react impulsively to his circumstances. Instead, he practiced responding thoughtfully. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine having the power to stay calm and composed, no matter what life throws at you. That's the power of mastering your reactions. Now let's think about something we all experience: stress at work. You've got a looming deadline, a full inbox, and your boss asks for an urgent report. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions, frustration, panic, maybe even anger. But in these moments, you have the ability to pause, breathe, and choose your response. Will you react impulsively, or will you respond with calm and focus? A simple but effective way to practice this is through the pause and reflect technique. When something triggers a strong emotion, pause for a moment before reacting. In that brief pause, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? This small practice helps you shift from reacting emotionally to responding with intention. Here's a practical takeaway for you. The next time you're in a situation that triggers an emotional reaction, whether it's anger, frustration, or anxiety, pause, take a deep breath, and choose your response. You can't control what happens, but you can always control how you react. By practicing this, you'll gradually master your emotional responses, and over time, you'll find yourself more at peace and less affected by external events. So, start today. Mastering your reactions is a powerful skill that brings inner peace and resilience. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, you always have the power to control how you respond. Lesson 7. Detach from material things. Imagine this. You've just bought the latest smartphone. It's sleek, it's fast, and it makes you feel on top of the world. But then, a few months later, the newest model is released. Suddenly, your once perfect phone feels outdated. You start thinking, maybe I need the latest one to keep up. This constant cycle of desire for the next new thing can be overwhelming, and yet it's all too common in our consumer-driven society. But here's the Stoic approach. Detach from material things. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy them. It simply means not letting your happiness depend on them. Seneca said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote teaches us that true wealth isn't about accumulating things. It's about finding contentment with less. Think about the story of Diogenes, the ancient Greek philosopher who lived in a barrel. Diogenes didn't want wealth, luxury, or material comfort. He lived with just the basics, often using nothing more than a clay bowl to drink from. When someone offered him a cup, he famously responded, "I am already drinking from the bowl that is enough for me." Diogenes understood that true freedom comes from freeing ourselves from the endless pursuit of material things. Now, this doesn't mean we should all live in a barrel. But Diogenes' philosophy reminds us that detaching from material things allows us to be more at peace with ourselves. We stop comparing ourselves to others or getting caught in the trap of "I need more," and instead we start focusing on what truly matters: our internal state, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. In today's world, it can be hard to detach from material desires. Advertisements constantly tell us what we need to be happy, and social media shows us what everyone else has. But what if we shifted our focus? Imagine finding contentment in what you already have, whether it's your current phone, your car, or even your living space. Instead of seeing them as symbols of success, you begin to appreciate them for their function and practicality. A practical takeaway for you. Start by taking a moment each day to reflect on the things you already have and how much you truly need. Maybe even try an experiment. For 1 week, refrain from buying anything unnecessary. Focus on appreciating the things you already own and use. You might be surprised by how little you actually need to be happy. So, next time you feel that pull to buy the latest gadget or upgrade your wardrobe, pause and ask yourself, what truly brings me happiness? By detaching from the constant chase of material things, you can start to experience a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment. Lesson 8. Find joy in the present moment. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of life, constantly planning for the future, worrying about what's next, or reflecting on the past. You're thinking, once I get that promotion, once I get to the weekend, then I'll be happy. But this kind of thinking can rob you of the joy that's available right now. Marcus Aurelius offers a powerful reminder. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If we spend our time only dreaming of the future or lamenting the past, we miss out on the beauty of the present moment. Think about a simple, everyday moment, like sitting down for a meal. How often do you find yourself thinking about your to-do list while eating, or distracted by your phone instead of simply enjoying the food in front of you? You may be eating, but you're not truly present. And this is a missed opportunity to find joy. This idea reminds me of the story of Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was born a slave. Despite his difficult circumstances, he focused on making the best of the present. When Epictetus was asked how he managed to stay calm and peaceful, even in the face of adversity, he replied, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus wasn't waiting for better circumstances to find peace. He found joy in each moment, regardless of what was going on around him. We often make the mistake of thinking that happiness is something we will attain when we achieve certain things. But Stoicism teaches us that we already have the ability to find joy, right here, right now. It's not about waiting for the next big thing. Instead, it's about embracing the present for what it is and finding contentment in whatever situation we're in. A practical takeaway for this lesson. The next time you're eating a meal, take a few minutes to truly savor each bite. Focus on the flavors, the texture, the experience. The same applies to any activity you do, whether it's walking, working, or even sitting in silence. Instead of rushing through it, be present. Make the most of the moment in front of you. You'll likely find that the more you practice being present, the more you start to appreciate the simple joys of life, no matter how small they seem. By focusing on the here and now, you unlock a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction. So remember, happiness is not always something we need to chase. It's something we can cultivate in the present. Lesson 9. Surround yourself with virtuous people. Imagine you're trying to climb a mountain. You're pushing yourself, step by step, but with every stumble, it gets harder to keep going. Now picture if there were others climbing alongside you, encouraging you, sharing wisdom, and helping when you fall. How much easier would it be to reach the top? The people we surround ourselves with have a tremendous impact on our lives. And this lesson is all about choosing our company wisely. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Just like a climber benefits from the support of a strong team, we too thrive when we spend time with those who uphold virtues like wisdom, integrity, and self-discipline. Let's take the example of the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. As an emperor, Marcus could have surrounded himself with flatterers, sycophants, or people who only agreed with him. But instead, he sought out virtuous advisors, men who challenged him and who held him to the highest standards of integrity. They helped him grow, and in turn, he was able to rule wisely and justly. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Virtue is the highest good, and we should aim to associate with those who live by these ideals. If you surround yourself with people who are lazy, negative, or constantly indulging in vice, it becomes harder to live a virtuous life yourself. But if your circle is filled with those who push you to be your best, who value discipline, honesty, and courage, you'll be more likely to develop these virtues yourself. Here's a real-world example. Think about a person who wants to improve their fitness. If they surround themselves with friends who prioritize health and exercise, it becomes easier to stay on track. But if they're around people who consistently make excuses or live sedentary lives, it's easy to get pulled into those habits. The key here is intentionality. Ask yourself, who am I spending my time with? Are they encouraging me to become a better person, or are they pulling me into distractions? Your environment shapes you more than you realize. Choose to surround yourself with people who inspire you to be virtuous, those who are grounded in Stoic principles, who challenge you to grow, and who remind you of what truly matters. A practical takeaway for this lesson. Take an honest look at your relationships. Are the people around you bringing out the best in you? Start seeking out those who embody qualities like wisdom, self-control, and kindness. It might mean spending more time with certain individuals and distancing yourself from others. By carefully curating your circle, you create an environment where you can thrive, learn, and grow. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Surround yourself with virtuous people, and you'll elevate your own life to higher standards. Lesson 10. Take action without overthinking. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a cycle of overthinking? The decision is small, but your mind races with possibilities. What if I fail? What if I make the wrong choice? What if it's not the right time? Overthinking can paralyze us. It keeps us trapped in our own heads, preventing us from taking action, even when we know deep down what needs to be done. But the Stoics teach us a better way, to take action swiftly and decisively without getting lost in unnecessary thought. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This powerful reminder tells us that often the difficulty lies in our hesitation, not in the action itself. We overanalyze because we fear failure, but in doing so, we make things harder than they need to be. Let's consider a real-life example. Think of Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history. He faced countless failures, and for many, the constant setbacks might have been enough to stop them. Yet Edison is known for saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Instead of overthinking, he took action again and again, without letting fear or doubt hold him back. He understood that inaction is often the real failure. In modern life, the same principle applies. Imagine you're considering a career change or thinking about starting a new project. You might be paralyzed by fear. What if it's too risky? What if I don't succeed? The Stoic approach encourages us to stop overthinking and start acting, trusting that progress will come from doing, not from endlessly analyzing. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasizes that we must embrace the present moment and take action when needed. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This means don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for the right time. Just start. Here's a practical takeaway. The next time you find yourself caught in a cycle of overthinking, try this. Make one small, actionable step toward your goal. Whether it's making that phone call, drafting the first paragraph of your book, or committing to a workout, take that first step. Stop overthinking and just do. You'll likely find that once you start, the next steps become easier and the path becomes clearer. Inaction only breeds doubt, while action breeds confidence. So, trust yourself and remember that in Stoicism, the focus is always on progress, not perfection. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take action. And there you have it. 10 powerful Stoic lessons that can change the way you live. From mastering your reactions to embracing discomfort and taking action without overthinking, these principles hold the key to true resilience and inner peace. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. Every small step you take towards these Stoic ideals will make a difference in your life. Whether you're learning to detach from material things or surrounding yourself with virtuous people, each lesson brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself. So, which lesson stood out to you the most? Which one are you going to put into practice today? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into the world of Stoicism, don't forget to subscribe and check out our next video. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and take action.